Hey, Highlander here. In my last video, I talked about U64 Streamer. And since that video, I've been in contact with Martijn Wieland, who, contrary to what I thought, is Dutch. I thought he was German. He contacted me and asked me if I wanted to test the next version that he had sitting on his computer, because he'd made a couple of changes. Now these are the changes that I think are some very good additions to the original U64 Streamer. Again, for the uninitiated, the U64 Streamer is the Windows application that will receive the Ultimate 64 video and audio streams and display them. Now, the new version had a resizable window. It is recognized in OBS, and it has audio. So those are the three main additions to the new version. By now, that version is downloadable for everyone, so I will include a link in the description to that version. Martijn is still looking for people who are willing to port his software to Linux or maybe Mac OS or whatever operating system. He will make the source, he's told me, available in GitLabs. I'm familiar with GitHub, but GitLabs I don't really know, but it'll be the same. The code will be shared, and you will be able to, I suppose, fork it into your own version and make something of it. Since that last video, and since I've had a chat with Martijn, I've done a stream. Now, I was very enthusiastic, and I said things. It's like the first live stream ever, and it's just my enthusiasm. It is, as far as I know, the very first live stream directly off an Ultimate 64, perhaps, hopefully. It is not, however, the first live stream off a Commodore 64, because there are other people who have capture devices who capture the audio and video straight off the Commodore and stream it like that. So it's not a premiere in that sense, but I was so enthusiastic. I liked it so much that I sort of window dressed the stream that I did on Twitch, by the way, and I exported the result to YouTube so that it is also preserved for the future. There were no viewers, but I have no viewers on Twitch, a couple of followers, and some viewers some of the time, but I'm very irregular. But perhaps, hopefully, the video will I thought it was worth saving that moment. I played a couple of games with the audio, which, as I understand later, wasn't very well audible. But that was just my OBS setting. Again, when you have viewers, they can tell you, oh, the audio is very low, and I can adjust for it. But I didn't have any viewers, and I didn't bother to check whether the audio levels were good. But anyway, it's there and it works. So you can now start the VIC and the SID streams off the Ultimate 64, and the U64 Streamer application will receive them. Now, there is a thing that I had never thought about until now. Inside the Commodore 64, the video and audio signals are just created at the same moment. As a programmer, you can fire off, I mean, depending on what kind of audio system you have in place, but usually there's something there, and at certain moments in the game, when something happens, you can fire off a sound effect, and it will be generated at the same time as the frame, so there will be so little difference in time that for the user it will seem to happen at the same time. The music just goes on, it uses interrupts and everything, but essentially the video and the audio are generated inside the Commodore 64 by two different systems. the SID and the VIC. And they are in the same system, and they are ruled by the same system clock, but they are essentially two separate signals. Now, if you use a capture device, you capture both the audio and the video in a same package. But the Ultimate 64 separates them. So you have one audio stream and one video stream. Now, I know that Gideon and Martijn talked about the protocols that, the way the data is going to be presented over those streams, so that they could both. Video and audio data are two very different things. The audio is like interlaced, left channel, right channel, left channel, right channel. The video signal is about pixels and colors and all that. So. But here's the main thing, they are not synced. So as soon as you start those streams, and as soon as the Ultimate 64 Streamer application receives the signals, they are unsynced. Now, to solve this problem, Martijn added a way of slowing down the video by a number of frames, so that it will be in sync with the audio. Now, that may differ on different platforms, so the number of frames of delay that you get in the video is settable in the settings. You can change it from 0 frames. Basically, you need 1 frame to do the administration, sort of. So from 0 frames to I don't know how many. But you can delay the video. Now, if you, it's like introducing lag, right? So if you're playing the game with your joystick attached to your Commodore 64, which is streaming to your PC, and you're watching your PC screen, you'll have a lot of lag to make, to slow the video down, to make it catch up or to make the audio catch up so that they're the same. Now, this is a streaming application. This is not a game playing application. So the streaming application shouldn't have to display a preview even. It could be like an interfaceless application. It's not, though. It shows the interface. But for a streaming application, it is not meant for playing, and it's very difficult to play with that kind of lag. Now, I thought, for a streaming application, that should not be a problem at all. Still, you can set the lag to 0. So the video lag will be 0, so you get the direct video, and the audio will sort of lag behind. And I played Barnsley Badger, and I played Frantic Freddy and all that, and it didn't. Mostly, you're listening to music and not sound effects. You'll notice when sound effects happen, they'll happen a little bit too late, but it's not that bad. So I played the entire stream that I did with the lag on, so with 0 delay, and it was perfectly doable. So I essentially, for a streaming application, it's not a problem. The thing is, though, my setup, if I stream, I have a camera pointing at my face, and while I'm looking at my PC screen, right? If I have to look at my Commodore screen, I'm going to have to set up the camera differently. So that would be a reason for people to say, I want the streaming application to be able, to allow me to play a game. But you don't play your game watching at your OBS preview either. You watch the actual game screen. I just thought I'd mention that. It's a streaming application. It works very well. The audio, I thought it was perfect. It's still beta. The software is still beta, so it's still not available on Git, and it is. There are changes coming. There were some changes to the menu, changes for stopping the stream automatically. There's some messages when you start the application. All just trying to feel out the best kind of way to present it. And I enjoy working with Martijn to make this the best application possible. Doesn't rule out other people making other streaming applications. I did have a short look at making a codec for OBS itself, because I think technically it should be possible to make something in OBS itself to receive the stream. I don't know how viable that would be or how useful, but it is a possibility. I just couldn't make heads or tails of the OBS documentation very quickly. So it's a very different beast. OBS is definitely not, and nor is VLC, going to directly understand the data that is coming out of the Ultimate 64. There's some very specific things in there. There's like a data header and there's color information. It's all specific to the Commodore. So it's a very specific thing. So for the fact of being an Ultimate 64 Streamer application, it makes a lot of sense to me. And I've used it, and I've used it with OBS, and I've used it and it is perfectly usable. So I encourage everyone to download this thing, hook it up to your Ultimate 64, and just get streaming with it, because it's I thought it's so unique. It's so much fun to have, the idea of having an 8-bit computer alive and running in a very modern Twitch world. I loved it, and I'm definitely gonna do some more streaming with it. So and I hope you do too. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.